Yeah, this is Paul Stewart with Auto Apps. We'll be what we'll be going over today is the new reporting tool that is accessible in the web or on your phone. We even have a mobile device, if you've got an Android, that you can download that if you just go to RSS Insights, you can download that mobile app and actually run all this right from your mobile app on the phone. So with this, we have multiple reports. We have the dashboard. What we'll be covering today is current work in progress, your weekly and monthly sales, quick look sales to date, the customer analysis, customer retention will be in another class, the new dashboard report, and then the new RO profit detail report. So I'm going to cover each one of these in detail. The first main report that we wanted to do is the dashboard. And the dashboard, we wanted to be able to give you all the key numbers and then what it will do is default month to date. So you'll see the date range right here, month to date. You can drop this down, and in this case, I'm just going to go to last month, and that way, and then all I'll have to do is load the report. You can change the date filters from right here. You can drop down and filter by Service Advisor or by Profit Center, or both. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and load the report. You notice the report only takes a few seconds to load, and we'll be looking at last month's data. So when you're looking at total sales, this total sales is going to be labor, parts, and sublet, and shop supplies. So this is your total sales. This would be the cost of those. What this doesn't include is parts-only invoices. You'll see your profit and your percent of gross profit. So this is going to be very similar to what you see on the summary report, other than when we're calculating the data, we're not, when you're looking at finalized ROs, you'll see that you have 129 invoices with sales, you have one parts-only invoice, and 17 zero ROs. So when we're calculating average repair order and calculating all the effective labor rate and gross profit, we're not going to be including the zero ROs. So in this case, we can see, and these are the key data that we want to look at and focus on. We had labor sales of 50,000, so this is going to be the breakdown of labor and your billed hours. And you can see your billed hours at 356.80. Your average, this is going to be, again, your average labor hours per RO. From this, without the zero ROs in there, we can see our effective labor rate. And then one that we feel is most important is managing gross profit per hour. Now, your gross profit per hour is going to be different depending on how much you load up your labor costs, because it has a direct factor on your labor costs. But once you set your benchmark, what you're looking at is the biggest way I can increase net profit is by increasing your gross profit per hour. The parts and labor ratio simply shows you real quickly what your parts to labor mix is. This tells me instantly that because it's 0.78, that you sold more labor than parts. So if it was 1, then that would mean you had $50,000 in labor sales and $50,000 in parts sales. So that's just your parts to labor ratio. So it's just a quick look at your ratio. You can see the number of vehicle hours. If you're using the time management, we can also look at technician efficiency. And so this just tells us that the technicians were able to produce, they worked on vehicles, so this is what we call time on the vehicle of 301 hours, and they produced 356 billable hours. So they were 118%, almost 120% efficient. Then we can look at number of labor operations and your average per RO. So they're averaging 6 labor operations per invoice. So these are just your key numbers that you're looking at real quickly, and then from that, what you'll be able to see is the same thing. These numbers here actually match your summary report in our rider. So this is your labor sales, your parts sales. The thing that we don't include in parts sales is your parts only sales. That way you're truly looking at your gross profit on your parts. We do break out your parts only sales, your sublet sales, your sublet cost, your shop supplies. In this case, they don't have any shop supplies. If you had any discounts, we'll show you your discounts here. Then your total revenue, which would be your sales tax. We break out the non-taxable fees, or the fees that, like your tire fee or your battery fee, and then you have your total revenue. Another value added that we added is being able to see what your warranty parts costs were. So this would be any part that you marked for warranty, and any core charges that you had on your parts. Declined sales would be how much of your labor jobs, your service jobs that you mark decline, and as a percentage to total sales, usually looking for that number to be 100%, in this case 50. So this just tells you how much you're actually putting into declined sales, and then we actually give you the number of customers that came in for that period that you pick. So this again, if you look at your total revenue, again, all this data is going to be within a penny of our rider sales reports. We've spent a lot of time in looking at that. Now we have some things that you can do. In this case, you can have a drop down of last month. If I wanted to compare this to the previous year, all I have to do is click on this button, click on load report. So this instantly lets me compare last year, 2018, June. You can see actually last year was a little more revenue, but 19 was certainly much more profitable. You can see your RO count. You can break down. Here's your biggest change right here, though, your effective labor rate and your gross profit per hour. So when you're looking at an increase of $30 in gross profit per hour on almost $350 in sales, you're talking about significantly increasing your bottom line by looking at that gross profit per hour. So these become factors that we look at. The system, we've put a lot of time into looking at and being able to compare. So let's say I wanted to look at this year to date, but in this case, this year to date, but I just want to look at 6 months. So I want to see that and compare that to previous 6 months. So again, your reports load in 5 seconds. You can see sales are up for the year. Most importantly, though, significantly up in your gross profit per hour. You can look at your ratios are about the same. So you can instantly see efficiencies. You can see everything instantly about where you're at year to date if you want to compare multiple years. So this is the dashboard report with all your key numbers on it and being able to really focus in on labor hours. When I go to reports, I just click here on reports. This just brings me back to the reports. You do have other reports that we can look at. In this case, current work in progress is simply going to show me invoices that were picked up today, which means invoices that were finalized. Anything that you've marked finished would be ready for pickup, and then your current work in progress. What will not display on the current work in progress is anything you've got marked on hold or expected in. So we're only going to display anything that's not marked expected in or on hold. So that's your current work in progress report. You'll notice that it updates. The updates are done every hour, so your data is updated every hour. If we wanted to look at weekly and monthly sales, that's just simply being able to give you a quick glance of week over week or month over month sales. You can change your date ranges to be 22 weeks, 52 weeks real quickly, or you can click on Show Advanced Parameters and you can change it to whatever you want to. In this case, I'm just going to leave it at 26 weeks. And you can see very quickly it'll just calculate and let me see it graphically week over week, and then let me see those sales, the number of invoices, your average invoice, and the breakdown of labor and parts, and then also same thing with your monthly sales. Going back to your reports, the quick look sales to date, this is what is text or emailed to you every night. If you wanted to get these texted to you or emailed to you, you simply would set it up in your notifications. So you simply would go to notifications and you would simply turn on whoever you want to send this data to, and you can either email it to you or you can have that texted to you. So that is being able to just get that information texted to you at usually around 7 o'clock every night. We would send you this quick look sales to date information. The customer analysis, we'll get into a little bit, we'll go in depth into that in a different class. But what this allows you to do, if I wanted to see all my customers or the new customers that came in month to date or returning customers, this allows us to instantly go in and just see analysis on our customers. We can see we had 13 new customers this month, and this is who they are and how much they spent and how many times they came in. Not going to spend a lot of time on that, just giving an overview. The customer retention report is simply designed to tell you easily tell you which customers haven't been back in a period of time. So I can say in the last 12 months what customers haven't been back by clicking on all missing customers or returning missing customers. So again, we'll spend more time on that in a different class. With this, I'll jump to the multi-columns here, but let me jump to our profit report. This new report right here, when you click on that, just automatically defaults to yesterday. So that way you can look at your detail of invoices. Now, it's not going to include parts-only invoices. You can turn those on if you wanted to see those by just clicking on that button and loading the report. But what this is going to do is give you a breakdown of each invoice, invoice order, the sales, your costs, your gross profit, your billable hours, your effective labor rate for that invoice, your gross profit per hour, again, your parts to labor ratios, and then your breakdown of sales, parts, sublet, and shop supplies. And then it gives you your total for that day. So you can look at it for the day or the week, or again, if I wanted to look at last week, I could simply load the report, and this is simply going to give me the details of the profit information on my closed invoices, being able to really to analyze what's going on profit-wise on each invoice, looking at both effective labor rate and gross profit per hour. So in the reports, just rounding out the reports, we've added, we had multiple requests. And again, now that we have the reporting built, we can come back and we can add lots of new reports that you'll see that happen over the years. But now you're able to see multiple date ranges. So if I wanted to look at, let's say I wanted to look at 18, 17, 16, and 15, or let's say I wanted to look at months, I'm just going to do this, and I simply load the report. You can see that I'm able to compare multiple years or months or year-to-dates, again, across, bringing up that dashboard report, letting you look at finalized invoices, your labor sales, gross profit per hour. You can see how that looks as we look at each year and year-to-dates, and you can see how close that is. And again, just giving you all that same information that we discussed earlier in the dashboard report, but allowing you to see it based on any time period as far as your reporting and looking at multiple date ranges on one screen. So these are your reports. You can simply click on the reports. If you want to go to your account, if you go into your account, this in the accounts where you can go in and add people, turn people off, edit your users, that type of stuff. So that is going into your accounts and changing your passcodes, whatever you want to do there with your account. That's what the account feature's for. And then with notifications. So again, the reporting tool designed for you to really get where you're focused on any date range, being able to see all your reports, and being able to see key information right here in a matter of a few seconds pulling that up. So this is RSS Auto Apps Insights reporting tool designed, and as we go through the year, we'll be adding more and more reports, and this is the conclusion of the reporting class.